Hello. There we go. Hey everybody. How goes it? I hope you had a great week. Apologies for my voice. I'm a little stuffed up. Allergies kicking my ass again today. Whenever the weather changes, y'all, and it decided to be like 31 degrees today, even though it's usually like our fall weather. Angel says, "Woo, child." Oh, my thoughts exactly, Angel. Hey, Kaiwan. Oh, man. How's it going, everybody? I had a great week. I hope you all did too. Alexis could not be my lawyer, all the way with Diane. For real, for real. Oh, man. Yeah, it's been a crazy week. I got to see my friend Jeremy perform with Nicholas Rage. He came to my performance last week as well. And life's been good. Had some great times with great friends, so can't complain. Other than these allergies, I can complain about those all day. All day. But what's up, everybody? Welcome to General Hospital MV, my GH After Show. We got some things to talk about, from Holly re-entering the picture to Carly and Michael being pulled right back into Sonny's world, and all the fun and unique twists and turns in between. Let's get into it. Oh my god, so much to talk about, y'all. Still got allergies. They never go away, Angel. Just some days they're better than others. Yeah, some days are better than others, but like when the weather like changes like drastically, it kicks my ass for sure. But yeah, hopefully mid-fall it'll kind of subside for a while. But yeah, let's get into it. So last week, Sonny Sonny killed Jagger execution style, and Michael walked in 2 seconds later, showed his anger for like 2 seconds as well, and instantly starts to cover it up for him and tells him to go back to the house being the Quartermain mansion. It will be better in the fall and winter for sure. It's just that it's summer weather right now. Hey, Nathan. Oh, you know, just hanging out with y'all. But yeah, so when Sonny goes back to the house, he finds Carly and says, "You gotta say that you were with me for the last 30 minutes. Doesn't tell her why, by the way. He messes up the bed in the room that they were in. And then they go downstairs to the living room where everyone else is. He's acting like he just put his belt back on his person, and obviously people kind of got the implication that Sonny and Carly just hooked up. Obviously not the case. And that's when everyone learns that Jagger Cates has been murdered. So I love that Tracy was just like, Tracy was just not buying it. But either way, Carly was pissed on the other hand, because obviously she didn't know why Sonny needed like an alibi until after the fact. But she reluctantly ends up agreeing to give him one anyway, which is so stupid. You know, so she goes with the charade that they had a one-night fling. And then she crashes at Sonny's place that night, separate rooms, of course, so that they can go over their story the next day. Not that like sleeping in separate rooms stops Sonny from being Sonny. He starts being like just like old times, hey, and trying to awkwardly like flirt with her. She's not having it. That's the vibe that I got. She doesn't have any desire whatsoever to even entertain the idea of them as a couple. That's what I got from it. Like, that's just my take. But I also just really don't want to see it. Like, I don't know how y'all feel, but I feel like Carly and Sonny reunions are played out. I mean, they are played out, let's face it. It's happened so many times for like a couple of decades now. So I'm over it personally. They done got married like 7 times, or like 4 with like 3 vow renewals, I think. Um, so I don't know. I don't want to see it personally. Hey, Sandy and Kaiwan, you said Carly really just screwed this time. Ran a character regression. Yeah. Yeah. That's the rant I kind of want to have right now, Kaiwan. So, first of all, my fear is we're about to sit through yet another marriage of convenience so that she doesn't have to testify against him. Sorry about my dog, y'all. But yeah, it's frustrating because I don't see how they're going to move the story to a point where Sonny will inevitably get away with this murder without having them get married. So she doesn't have to take the stand, basically. We already have Diane saying that simply a one-night stand isn't going to be believable. They have to sell an affair. Laura writes that they aren't getting back together on Steve and Brad's latest podcast. I sure hope not. But yeah, the other frustrating thing is, unlike many of the other times before, to that end, Angel, we've sat through, lots of Sonny and Carly breakups over the year, but their last one was really the first time that we got to see Carly take like a true deep dive into who she was away from him in a decently long character arc story on the show, going as far back as exploring her roots in Florida, going to Jacksonville, having Bobby and Carly go through that journey together before Jackie's even passed away. Carly changing her last name to Spencer and embracing her mother's name, and managing Kelly's and renaming it Bobby's after Bobby passed away. Really building a life away from Sonny. So reversing all of that at this point would truly seem ridiculous to me. Tracy's reaction was everything. Yeah, I agree. We'll talk about that in a second too, Angel. Sonny's like the Victor Newman of General Hospital. He'll be married to his wife like 6 times. Ugh. But yeah, one thing that I do like here is that when Jocelyn found out that Sonny and Carly slept together, she flipped. Of course, at first she didn't believe it, because she too seen the journey that Carly went on. And so yeah, Tracy's reaction was everything. She had overheard it from Jocelyn, because the Quartermains were talking about their tryst in the living room, and he brings it up to her, and Tracy's reaction, like Angel's saying, was everything. Like, she realized that her bed was so messed up, and everyone was talking about Sonny and Carly hooking up, and she was just, her reaction is essentially mine when it comes to Sonny and Carly. She just constantly started gagging for like a good 5 minutes, like trying not to vomit. It was hilarious. I don't know. That's how I would feel if I had to sit through another round of Sonny and Carly getting back together. Gio talks too much. Yeah, he do. Have you watched YNR? I didn't. I don't. Is it? It's not on. It is on, right? It's still on? YNR is still on, right? But I've heard about the character of Victor Newman. Anyway, Jocelyn eventually runs into Carly outside of Sonny's place, and when they get back to Jocelyn's place later, Carly does her best to sell what happened, what didn't really happen, that they had a one-night stand. But when Jagger's death enters the chat, Jocelyn realizes it's a very real possibility that they didn't sleep together, and she's just giving Sonny an alibi. And of course, that angers her even more because she just watched her mom barely dodge a criminal charge, and only because the evidence magically disappeared. Now, we need to talk about or explore the angle that makes this murder storyline slightly more interesting, if only because it certainly is about to complicate things for someone else. A couple of other characters, actually. And make someone else the number one suspect of murder. As you guys remember, Christina snuck out of her house and took Alexis's car and drove it over to Sonny's and stole a gun from his safe. Then where she went was the baby's gravesite to cry and apologize for the dramatic moment from the funeral the other day. Alexis and Sam are back at the house, understandably worried, and when Christina shows up, Christina just, goes up to bed. Alexis finds the gun in Christina's bag and is understandably freaked out. She ends up taking the gun to the bridge and throws it over just in time for Rick and Elizabeth to see her throw the gun over the bridge. She tried to cover, they didn't buy it. But funny enough, that whole situation occurred before Alexis even knew Jagger was murdered. Alexis basically thought Christina was going to kill herself with it, or that's what she told Christina at some point anyway. But when Alexis did confront her on why she had the gun, she actually just straight up admitted that she was just going to kill Jagger and Ava with it, but that she hadn't even gone over to do so yet. Now, Rick and Elizabeth end up reporting what they saw once they found out about Jagger's murder. It's funny because Elizabeth really didn't want to. And Rick says something to the effect of like, I'd never thought I'd see the day where Elizabeth wouldn't do the right thing. And I'm like, bro, what? Have you met this girl? Do you remember who this girl used to be? Like, the affairs that she would have instead of just coming clean that she's in love with someone else and breaking up with them, like, the right thing would be. Or, this is someone who's lied about multiple children's paternity, not just her own, but other people's. Like, I don't know. This is even a person, and listen, I like Elizabeth. Her character has changed immensely over the years. Okay, I'm just referring about who she used to be back when Rick was in town before, okay? So, like, this is the person who kept the would-be identity of a man a secret from his entire family just to be with him, even though it didn't end up actually being who she thought it was. But, that doesn't matter. She thought it was Jason. She kept it a secret from Jason's family, his wife, his kids, all of them, all right? So don't come at me with, oh, the Elizabeth I know would always do the right thing and never thought I'd see the day. The days were here a long time ago. They've passed. But, in terms of, like, morally gray areas, there's been some things, okay? But, like, overall, she's become a better person, okay? She hasn't had an affair in a long time. Hasn't lied about a paternity in a long time, too. What I was about to say that, Kaiwan. So, Rick, after talking to the police, goes up to Chase afterwards and reminds Chase that Alexis is killed before, and that she has every reason to want him dead. Rotten Rick and Lusty Liz are still made for each other. I don't like Rick and Liz, and I feel like it felt weird to me that Liz would even agree to go for ice cream and walk for him. Like, that seems weird to me. Yeah, Alexis. Yeah, Kaiwan. She didn't just kill Kiefer. She killed Louise Alcazar as well. Like, she's murdered a couple times. But it is what it is. She didn't kill Jagger this time, but it is a pattern, unfortunately, for her to kill people that go after people she loves. So, to me, though, it is a little bit crazy that Rick hates Alexis this much. Like, just a reminder, they broke up because Rick slept with her daughter. Rick slept with Sam, okay? Like, things got wrecked, and Rick really was a shitty husband when she was going through cancer. But I guess to be fair, like, he's also pretty mad that Molly feels like Alexis left her flailing in the wind, so I don't know. Let's just help Nicholas keep pregnant Esme captive not that long ago. Yeah, but she eventually, like, fessed up to it, is what I'm saying. She experienced growth, And also, Esme was pretty vile. I was talking about she's done things to like less vile people that didn't deserve certain things. Esme, you know, she I guess, well, she didn't remember at the time either, did she? Esme didn't remember who she was. Or no, she totally did. And then she escaped, and then she didn't remember who she was. Never mind. Sorry, I had to rethink about that. They were already having problems before he slept with Sam. This is true. But a lot of it was Rick, is what I'm saying. Alright, though. So, let's... I don't know. I just feel like if Rick had seen Molly steal a gun and then found out, or thought that she was going to kill herself with it, or found out that someone died that she would be gunning for, I think Rick would do the same exact thing Alexis did. It is just weird to me that Alexis would throw it over the bridge before she even learned that Jagger was dead. Especially if all she thought was that Christina was going to kill herself with it. Like, that seems weird to me. That seemed weird. But whatever. Let's talk about Ava. She definitely had herself one hell of an adventure, being held by Jagger's fake FBI, only to be driven to the Pine Barrens. Luckily for her, Jason tracked her down and saved her, not before checking on the guy that the woman driving the woman driving the car that Ava was in hit Isaiah. More on him later. Isaiah is the one that escaped Africa, Lucky's friend. He gets hit by that car. But yeah, so Jason, calls the police to go find him, and then saves Ava, calls the police to report what happened. And when they get back to the PCPD, Ava tells them everything, that Jagger forced her to lie in her statement and Jagger was planning on killing her. Naturally, Ava's scared that Jagger's still going to go after her, and that's when she and Jason find out from Anna that Jagger's dead. What are y'all saying? Didn't Alexis have an affair with the mayor at the time? That's how their marriage problems began. No. So here's the thing. At the time that story was happening, Alexis was not having an affair with the mayor. She just happened to have a meltdown and confessed that she was battling cancer to him. It was learned after, years later, that they actually did sleep together. For a plot twist during the political scandal story back in 2009. So it was 3 years later is when they established that there actually was either an affair or a one night stand that actually happened between them. Angel, you said I would have asked Christina about the gun before I tossed it. Yeah, exactly. To me, she was freaking out. She called Diane. She called Diane about this. Well, I guess she was nervous because having a gun was a parole violation. So, yeah, so that was, I guess, a factor. But, there was no proof that Christina had the gun. Alexis could have just said it was her gun. I don't know. But mind you, it would be an unregistered one. Or registered to Sonny. So, not that she would have known that yet, though. She didn't know where the gun was from. But yeah, anyway, Jason gets filled in by Sonny the next day over everything that happened. Sonny had also realized that one of his guns from his safe was missing, and he also wants Jason to get rid of the gun that he used for Jagger's murder. Sorry. But before he could, Anna and Dex show up with a warrant to explore Sonny's house. Jason did have the gun in his pocket, I think, at this point. And when they search the place, Dex is like, I know where he keeps his guns, and goes to the safe and gets Sonny to open it. And they're like, oh, a gun is missing. But to me, I'm like, shouldn't it be two? I swear they were like, one gun is missing. Unless the other gun was never in that safe to begin with, or there was no room for it in that safe. I don't know. But they just say one gun is missing. And Sonny acts like he's shocked by it. So yeah, we now have a murder mystery on our hands, except we already know who did the murder. It's the PCPD that are in the dark. Personally, I would have felt like it would have been more fun if we didn't see who killed Jagger, because he already pissed off a lot of people. Christina, Alexis, Sonny, Jason, Anna, Ava, the FBI. It could have been anybody. Would it have been predictable to make it a murder mystery storyline? Yeah. But this alternative isn't by all means better at all. The only way it would be is if Maurice Bernard was actually retiring, and this is actually the story that sends the character to prison for life. Now we just get to be annoyed when the PCPD inevitably set their sights on Alexis or Christina and start to rule out Sonny as a suspect because he has an alibi. The guns in the safe are registered to Sonny. The gun used... Okay, that makes sense. Thanks, Angel. But yeah, so we're just going to sit here in this story being annoyed that the PCPD is not looking at the actual murderer. We're going to be annoyed that we already know Sonny's going to get away with it somehow. Because as far as we know, Maurice is not retiring. And also, it felt like, this feels very much like Austin's death in the sense that nobody cares. He was murdered, they talked about it for a minute, and then we've never heard about it since. So, I feel like it's going to be kind of... Yeah, exactly. It'll be just like Austin's murder, Sandy. We have the same brain. So, yeah. I'm just... No one's going to... It's going to be dropped like a hat. It's just going to take longer for it to drop like a hat because they have to kind of, he was so prominent for a long time, whereas Austin really wasn't. I don't know. That's just how I feel. But let's switch gears and head over to Africa, where we spend an entire week watching Lucky play poker with the bad guy, Sidwell, and watching Lucky beat him every time because he can do that because his father taught him how. Thankfully, we did get two things out of Lucky's poker week. A flashback of Lucky and Elizabeth when they were young and falling in love, and the return of Holly Scorpio, who showed up at least, make things a little bit more interesting, I guess. And she's involved in with this man, only as a con because she's after a big mark, a lucrative one apparently. We also seen Robert and Mac talking briefly about Holly being one of his great loves in his office. And he calls her afterwards to let her know that he's thinking about her. And for a moment, I thought nothing of it. And then I was like, wait a minute. Are Robert and Diane still together? Because what happened? We've not seen them in several months. I feel like it's been like, we're playing musical head writers right now. I feel like the last time we saw them was before Chris and Dan got fired. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but it feels like it's been that long. So, I don't know. I'm curious. Are they still together? Is it going to matter that Robert called Holly? Did we forget that they were a couple? Did they break up and I forget? Was the flashback to the prom storyline with the rape and everything else? No, I don't think so. Because that slow dancing was outside of Windermere during the Bacchanalia Ball. So Liz and Lucky were already together at this point. The prom happened and Lucky, I think, went with Sarah, Elizabeth's sister, and I don't know if Elizabeth went on her own or with someone else. I can't remember, but this wasn't that. That flashback wasn't from that. He might still want to date Holly. Maybe. We'll see. But we know that Diane is not going to fly with that. Robert is too dry for Diane anyway. Oh, I liked their kinship, though. I would have been down for like a friendship between them instead of a romance, honestly. Sandy said, I'm sick of them bringing Holly back every time Robert is with Diane. I mean, I'm okay with Holly being back because she seems to be within this story taking place in Africa. And I think maybe, perhaps, Ethan will somehow be involved, I hope. But this seems to be more of a focus on Lucky and his story. But I mean, if they were to bring Holly onto the show and not have Robert and Holly interact at least once, I think fans would have something to say about that. You know what I mean? Like, Tristan Rogers is still on GH. Emma Samms is there. If they don't have them share a scene at some point, it's going to piss off a lot of people. So, we'll see. Brooklyn, you said Lucky will help Holly, and together they will both get out with the quickness. Yeah, I hope so. Time to bring Lucky back to Port Charles with his friend. But yeah, now, meanwhile, in Port Charles, Lucky's friend Isaiah, who was hit by the car Ava was in, is now in the hospital with a man disguised as a nurse trying to kill him, and a former police commissioner turned mayor deputy, Jordan Ashford, making it her life's mission to find out his identity, because he had no ID on him, first of all. And I guess her reason for being so focused on him is because she feels helpless that she's not really being able to do anything for TJ. Which seems a bit like a cop-out excuse to being so focused on him. Maybe they'll try to put them together. I don't know. We'll see. By the way, we got scenes with Brick and Jordan this week. Because she's not afraid to go through unique channels, and obviously they have a flirtation. They just barely show them. But, yeah, she asks him to search for his identification as well. She's not afraid to go through those unique channels to do so. But funny enough, Dante is the first to find the clue. He finds his phone at the scene of the crime, and there's a lot of calls made to Africa on the phone, where, you know, in the same area that Laura is trying to find Lucky, or to track Lucky down. Dante's like, what a coincidence. And, you know, he's already thinking that it's tied to where Lucky might be for some reason. I don't know. Hopefully Isaiah doesn't die. But yeah, those were the kind of the major plots on the show this week. But we did get some other beat points, and we'll talk about those. Jordan sees a glorious man. He is a glorious man. He's quite good looking, isn't he, Sandy? But yeah, so here's some of the other things that happened. Drew and Willow stopped their makeout session. I'm surprised. I thought that they were actually going to hook up. But what happened was the same exact thing that happened the last time they kissed. They were caught in the moment. They talk about, oh, I love Michael so much, and blah, blah, blah. It was the same shit in a different location. And I'm just like, not that I want Drew and Willow to sleep together, but what was the point of that? Like, I don't know. They've established that there's... Did they establish it with each other? I don't know. But Drew established to Curtis that there's actual feelings involved on his end. And I think he even says that he thinks that Willow has feelings for him as well. But yeah. Then they, you know, before his conversation with Curtis, they had gone back to the queues and stumbled upon Michael at the boathouse, having already called the police, but Jagger's dead body there. Of course, they're shaken up about it. And Willow, she's just exhausted by the end of this situation because she's so stressed about kissing Drew again. And she goes to sleep and has a dream about Michael making love to her, only for Michael to turn into Drew. Angel says Willow having wet dreams about Drew. Exactly. Oh my god. Sandy says if if Michael tells Willow about Sonny, she will tell Drew. That is true. That is true. But yeah, those were kind of that was the other kind of major plot point this week, which wasn't that major, I guess. But beyond that, we had a bit of lightheartedness happen But honestly, kind of pointless and ridiculous. It's a story where a voice coach shows up to the Quartermain mansion to help Lois change her voice. Hired by Tracy, even though we've seen Lois like make a call, apparently it was Tracy that decided to do it. And really, the storyline only happened just to give Saturday Night Live actress Sarah Sherman, I think her name is, a quick role to guest star on the show. It was a little awkward, honestly, but she's a diehard GH fan, so like, yay you for achieving a dream. And she's on SNL. It's not like she's a bad actress or anything. It's not like she's not an actress. She was funny. She did her part. She did it well. Her character's name was Robin Finch, and supposedly her character has trained Meryl Streep's daughters, not Meryl Streep herself, her daughters, in how to change their voices. Lois's voice did change after one whole lesson. Not that much in my opinion, but everyone in the house was just so like impressed by it. I was just confused because I'm like, I know Rena Selfer doesn't actually talk like Lois, so like, why does she not sound like herself? Tracy wouldn't have minded Olivia changing her voice as well, and kind of wants to pay her to do that for Olivia. It's funny though, because it felt like they like made Olivia extra Bensonhursty in these scenes. Oh, the girls from Saturday Night Live. Yeah. Nope, she was just a guest star for 2 whole episodes, so that she could just say that she did it, and she brought her mom on set too because they both watch it. But yeah. Oh, I guess another thing that happened too, I forgot to bring this up earlier. Remember how Nina called someone for a favor to help Ava? The call was to Rick. She thought he'd be a great person to represent the woman who was indirectly involved, or I guess more so directly, just not like guilty of doing it on purpose, but involved in his niece falling out a window and his grandchild getting killed in the process. She thought that Rick would just do that for Ava. Like, I don't know. Honestly, I had almost forgotten that Rick and Nina were married. Because it happened like almost a decade ago at this point, in a blink and you'd miss it moment. It was actually during that 2 episode period window where GH decided to do a live show. Like a live show. I feel like it was like a Thursday and a Friday or something like that. 2 days back to back. They did shows live. The only thing I can really remember from that live as well was that it really showcased that some of the actors cannot act under the pressure of thousands of people watching them right in that moment, because some of them did atrociously. But to be fair, Michelle Stafford, who was Nina at the time, Rick Hurst, and Roger Howarth, who was playing Franco, who was the witness to Rick and Nina's marriage, weren't in the group of actors that clearly couldn't act live very well under that pressure. Lois sounded like a robot. Yeah, a little bit. I can't for the life remember that when you got it. What? Sorry? Kind of one I don't understand. The other thing I can remember from the live show was that Anna shot Carlos. Again, they were not in the category of actors that can't act live. They did a great job too. Hey, Mikab. Can't remember Nina and Rick being married. Yeah, it was such a blink and you miss it moment. But Nina and Rick got married while Tyler Christopher was still playing Nicholas. So, that's how long ago it was. It was like Nicholas was still there and still being played by Tyler. Actually, Tyler's Nicholas and Hayden and Elizabeth were sharing scenes during that live too. It was like 2015 when that all happened. But yeah, needless to say, Rick turned down Ava's offer, or Nina's offer, in helping represent Ava. He shut it down. Guess Nina wasn't thinking that through. Nothing new there. But yeah, those are kind of all the plots that happened on the show. I don't really have much more to say. It was a shorter week. It was 4 days, 4 episodes because of the long weekend. So yeah, I don't know. If you guys have anything to add, feel free. Oh, here's a question. Do you guys want Sonny and Carly back together? Let me know. Lois sounds like Quinn from Bold. Ah, lordy. Was Quinn the character she played on Bold? I know she was on there. Nina didn't think that the relationships of everything when she called. Yeah, it's true. Didn't think that they crossed paths before, I guess. Rick and Nina's mother were trying to get Nina's money. That was the plan. Ricky said Ken Shriner left the show for good last month. For good. Yep, he always leaves for good until he comes back a month later. Sorry to say, Rick, but he says that every time that he's gone for good. Sandy's your answer to Sonny and Carly's question is no. Allison, you want Charlie? I don't really want Charlie either, but they need Jason to have someone. Time to give him a romance. Angel, you said I think Sonny and Carly belong together, so they won't expose anyone else to their bull. That's a valid reason to put them together, and I can't even fault you for that one. Keep the toxicity in one space. That's a valid point, Angel. I don't want them together for that reason, because I just don't want to see it, unless they're gonna leave the show together, in which case, go for it. But I like Laura Wright and I like Maurice Bernard, and I want them on the show, but they gotta stop giving them these stale storylines of repeating things over and over again. It's old and tired. Want someone new for Jason. Yeah, I'm down for someone new for Jason. I don't know who that could be with the cast, but they could bring on a new character. Kaiwani said I want Jason and Ava. I don't see it happening though. I really don't. I don't like Jason's not going to be with a woman that a woman that Sonny and Carly loathe because he's too loyal to them. But Maura West and Steve Burton actually do really work well together. I actually like their scenes. They shared scenes the first time he returned as well, when he was being held in that clinic. New character for Jason. Yeah. Write in a new love interest for Jason. I'm down for that. I mean, they're getting rid of Kelly Monaco. The least they can do is give him another love interest played by a decent actress. Jason can't stand Ava. Yeah, exactly. But Jason as a character can put certain things aside, because he still knows right from wrong. He clearly seen that Ava was going to get killed and learned that it was Jagger who did it. So, like, if anything, this helps Christina. And I think, that was his motive. Like, we need to bring her back so that she can recant her story. Britt and Jason. I liked Britt and Jason. Stelly 2.0. But I think they've pretty much made it impossible for Britt to return. But maybe they can have Kelly on as a new character. A long-lost twin sister. Doesn't matter. Or they can just have her be a new character and we don't establish that she looked like Britt. Another brunette. Oh man. Yeah, I'm down for Jason to get a new love interest in a new character. Sometimes we need new characters to kind of shake things up on the show. As long as they're giving, the veterans their fair share. But yeah, I don't have much more to say on that matter. Kaiwan, I think we've had this conversation about me not liking spoilers discussed, right? Made a whole post about it. But anyway, so what I was going to say is this Wednesday, I can't see Jason doing booty calls, me neither. So what I was going to say is I won't be live streaming this Wednesday. My cousins from Florida are coming up from Monday to Friday. So there won't be a Wednesday stream. But the following Wednesday, we'll be watching Felicia clips because this weekend was her 40-year anniversary. So I feel like we might as well watch some classic Felicia moments. I think it's a great idea. I like the character of Felicia, and I adore Christina Wagner. But yeah, I think. What was I gonna say? Yeah, but Kaiwan, I've mentioned it on live streams many times as well that you've been a part of. That's all I'm saying. But anyway, what was I gonna say? Yeah, we're gonna next Wednesday, not this Wednesday. We're gonna watch Christina Wagner clips from over the years. So stay tuned for that. But we'll be back before that on Sunday. Yeah. Stay tuned for that. In the meantime, I'm going to end the live stream here. My allergies are still acting up, and I need to blow my nose because I can just feel it dripping. But yeah, if you like this video, give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. I will catch you guys next Sunday. Peace out. I was going to snap my fingers like I can end the video that way. I can't. Goodbye. Mwah. Enjoy the rest of your week.